She carried one small cloth bag and her mother's last hope. My name is Amara, and this is the story that almost destroyed my life. Before I start, do me a quick favor. Like this video and subscribe. Stories like this must be heard. Now listen carefully. The morning I left home was very noisy. People were shouting at the bus park. Vendors were selling roasted corn and groundnuts. Drivers were blowing their horns again and again. But inside my heart, everything was quiet. My mother stood in front of me holding my small bag. It was old but clean. Inside it were 2 uniforms, 1 pair of slippers, a towel, and 3 exercise books. That was all I had. She looked at me again and again, like she wanted to remember my face. "Did you pack everything?" she asked. "Yes, Mama," I said softly. "I'm not going for years." But she did not laugh. Instead, she opened her purse and brought out a small notebook. The cover was brown, and the corners were bent. "This belonged to your father," she said quietly. My chest tightened. "My father died 3 years earlier." She opened the first page. He had written something there in blue ink. "If life becomes confusing, remember who you are." My eyes became wet. "Mama," I whispered. She held my shoulders. "I sold my sewing machine yesterday," she said slowly. I froze. It was the only machine she used to make clothes for people in the village. "Your school fees are not small," she continued, "but your future is bigger than this village." Tears filled my eyes. "I will not disappoint you," I promised quickly. She nodded. "Just remember one thing. Do not let anyone change your heart." The bus conductor shouted loudly, "City bus! Last seat!" My mother carried my bag to the bus. Before I entered, she held my hand tightly. "No matter what happens," she said, looking straight into my eyes, "remember where you come from." I nodded, but I could not speak. The bus started moving. Through the dusty window, I watched her become smaller and smaller. She did not wave. She just stood there. I pressed my father's notebook to my chest. "I will make you proud," I whispered. But I did not know the school I was going to would test that promise in ways I never imagined. The school was called Royal Crest Girls' College. It looked like something from television. Tall white buildings, green grass everywhere, girls walking with shiny hair and expensive bags. When I stepped out of the taxi, I held my small bag tightly. 2 girls walked past me. One looked at my slippers. "New student?" she asked. "Yes," I said politely. She looked at me from head to toe. "Scholarship?" I hesitated. "Yes." She laughed and whispered to her friend, "I can always tell." They walked away. Heat rushed to my face. I walked slowly to the hostel. Inside the dormitory, girls were opening big boxes. Perfumes, hair dryers, fancy shoes. My small cloth bag looked like nothing. The girl on the next bed stared at it. "That's all you brought?" she asked. "Yes," I said. She shrugged. "You will learn." That night the room was full of noise. Girls laughed loudly. Some were talking on the phone, but I lay quietly on my bed. I took out my father's notebook and held it close. "God," I whispered, "please, help me here." Outside the room, I heard some girls whispering. "Did you hear about the Golden Group?" "Yes. Only special girls enter. They live very well." I turned to face the wall. I did not know what they were talking about, but the way they said it made my stomach feel strange. The first weeks were hard. I woke up early every day. I ironed my uniform carefully. I sat in the front during classes. But money finished quickly. My soap became very small. My toothpaste was almost empty. Sometimes I drank only water during lunch. One afternoon, my stomach made a loud sound in class. The girl beside me laughed. "Are you fasting?" "I'm not hungry," I lied. But I was very hungry. That evening, I sat on my bed, counting the little money left. It was not enough. I stared at my phone. Should I call my mother? No. She had already sold her sewing machine. I could not ask for more. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. A tall girl walked in. Her name was Lydia. Her hair was perfect. Her slippers looked expensive. She dropped a nylon bag on my bed. Inside it was rice, chicken, and a bottle of soda. "For you," she said. I blinked. "Why?" She smiled. "I don't like seeing people suffer." My hands shook as I opened the food. "Thank you," I whispered. She sat beside me. "You're smart, right?" she asked. "Idre." She shook her head slowly. "Trying is not enough in this school." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She leaned back. "There are two types of girls here. The ones who struggle, and the ones who understand the system." "I don't understand," I said. She smiled. "You will." Over the next few days, Lydia helped me again. Sanitary pads, body cream, small money for data. I felt very grateful. One evening she said something strange. "We are going out this weekend." "Out where?" I asked. "Just a small gathering," she replied. "I don't go to parties," I said quickly. She laughed. "You will just come and watch." I stayed quiet. Before leaving, she said one more thing. "You can keep suffering if you want, or you can relax small." That night, I could not sleep. My stomach was full for the first time in weeks, but my mind felt restless. The next evening, Lydia returned wearing a beautiful dress. "Are you ready?" she asked. I hesitated for a long time. Then I picked up the dress she had given me earlier. "I will only watch," I said. She smiled slowly. "That's how it always begins." We left the hostel quietly. A black car was waiting outside the school gate. When we arrived, my eyes widened. The house was huge. Music was playing. People were laughing. Inside the house were girls from different schools. Some were dancing. Some were sitting beside older men. My heart started beating fast. "Don't look scared," Lydia whispered. "They notice fear." A man came to us. He looked rich. "Lydia," he said, "you brought someone new." "This is Amara," she said. He looked at me carefully. "You're very pretty." "Thank you," I said softly. He handed me a bottle of juice. Later, he slipped some money into my hand. "For transport?" he said. "I didn't do anything," I replied quickly. He smiled. "I know." That night I could not sleep. The money felt heavy in my hand. The next day, I sent some of it to my mother. She called me immediately. "My daughter," she said happily. "You sent money already?" I forced a laugh. "I helped a junior student with homework." She sounded proud. "God will bless you." After the call ended, I stared at the ceiling. I had told my first lie, and slowly, things became easier. I followed Lydia again. Not always, just sometimes. Soon I had better clothes, better shoes, a new phone. Nobody called me scholarship girl anymore, but attention started to follow me. One morning I was called to the principal's office. My heart started racing. The principal's name was Mrs. Kareem. She was calm and powerful. "I've been watching you," she said. My stomach dropped. "You are intelligent," she continued. "But something has changed." I stayed quiet. Then she said something that scared me. "I protect students who are loyal to me." Her eyes looked straight into mine. "I can open doors for you." Her hand rested on my shoulder. "You deserve more than the life you came from." I felt trapped. I remembered my mother's sewing machine. I remembered the money I sent home. So, I stayed silent. Weeks later, everything exploded. A short video appeared online. It showed the principal in a dark room with a student. The video spread everywhere. Students whispered. Parents called the school. The secret group was no longer secret. Fear filled the hostel. Then one night I received a message from an unknown number. "If you talk, your mother will suffer." My hands went cold. 2 days later, I got a call from home. "Your mother fainted in the market," our neighbor said. My world stopped. When I reached the small hospital, she looked weak. "My daughter," she whispered. Tears fell from my eyes. "Are you still the girl I sent to that school?" she asked softly. I could not answer. My silence said everything. Later that night, I sat outside the hospital. I opened my father's notebook again. "If life becomes confusing, remember who you are." For the first time in months, I understood the words. I had been silent. I had been afraid. But silence almost destroyed everything. So, I made a decision. I went back to the school. I found files that showed the truth. Names, payments, secret visitors. I took photos of everything. Then, I sent the evidence to journalists. The next morning, the story was everywhere. Police came. The principal was arrested. The secret group collapsed. 2 weeks later, the school closed for investigation. I packed my small bag again, just like the first day, but I was no longer the same girl. When I returned home, my mother was waiting outside. She hugged me tightly. "I saw the news," she said, softly. Tears filled my eyes. "I'm sorry." She lifted my chin. "Did you fall?" she asked. "Yes." "Did you stand up again?" "Yes." She smiled. "Then you are still my daughter." Today, my life is different. I changed schools. I work part-time. I study harder than ever. Some people ask about the scandal. I simply say one thing. I survived. Because sometimes, survival is the bravest victory. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments. Was Amara wrong, or was she just trying to survive? And remember something important. Not every quiet girl is safe. Not every strong girl is free. Sometimes surviving is the real courage. See you in the next story.